How is it possible that this can reduce this? Is it just a trick or a placebo, or is it an actual real thing in your brain? Let's find out. Hello everyone, I am Lieve, a young researcher in the field of biochemistry and drug development. At Biochemistry Explained, we make scientific literature accessible. The evidence for pain reduction by hand-holding was largely subjective, until researchers from the Cincinnati Children's Hospital and Dartmouth College conducted a brain imaging study investigating the underlying mechanisms. But before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to decide the topic of the next video, please leave a comment below. Thank you! Most of us have experienced that holding our partner's hand gives us a pleasant feeling. Even watching these two float together makes me very happy. Finally, there is actual evidence that hand-holding does not only reduce pain intensity, but also increases emotional comfort, but in addition, it also changes brain activity. First of all, it is important to understand the setup of the study. They tested 30 healthy women, of which their partners held their hand. The study had a within-subject design. By the way, if you want to learn more about these types of setups and studies, check the links below in the description. This meant that each participant went through a baseline phase, followed by 2 hand-holding phases, and then a baseline phase again. Both phases were identical, apart from that in the baseline phase, the women held a rubber ball instead of their partner's hand. During each phase, an unpleasant heat stimulus of 47 degrees Celsius for 11 seconds was applied to the other arm. Several types of data called outcome measures were measured in this study. First of all, the participants had to rank the pain intensity as well as the unpleasantness of the heat stimulus. In addition, they recorded emotional comfort by ranking the relationship quality and closeness to each other. Now, let's go to the results. First of all, the researchers found that hand-holding reduced the reported intensity of pain and pain unpleasantness. Shown in blue is the result for when the participants held a ball, and red when they held their partner's hand. Emotional comfort was also significantly increased and was associated with an increase in reported relationship quality. Here, the researchers gave as a side note that all participants reported a relatively high relationship quality. So in future studies, it might be interesting to explore the quality of relationship on the results. The method they used relied on functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI. Whereas in a normal MRI, brain structures can be investigated, fMRI can be used to demonstrate regional and time-varying changes in brain metabolism. The method relies on the assumption that blood flow in the brain is coupled to neuronal activity. Thus, when a specific brain area is used, blood flow will increase. When a certain brain area is active, this requires energy. To produce energy, cells need oxygen, and oxygen is transported in your blood. How exactly these changes in blood flow and energy are measured is quite complex. If you're interested to know more about this, I have added a link in the description that you can use. The most innovative part of the study was the fMRI data they obtained. They investigated the activity of something called the Neurological Pain Signature, or NPS. This is a specific pattern of brain activity previously used in other studies that is specifically sensitive and linked to physical pain, also called nociceptive pain. The participants showed a lower NPS rating, so less activity in this specific brain pattern during hand-holding. They also distinguished between early and late pain, meaning that they distinguished between the pain in the first few seconds and the last few seconds. NPS linked to both of these was significantly reduced. The significance of this effect is quite interesting, since several studies have shown that a placebo does not really reduce the NPS, and hand-holding could have previously been classified as a placebo. However, here they show that hand-holding does not only affect the subjective experience of pain, but also brain activity in pain-related regions. NPS reduction shows that hand-holding has an effect at the basic nociceptive level. However, The researchers did not stop there and wanted to investigate the underlying mechanisms further. They found that the connectivity between NPS and the rest of the brain increased during handholding. This, for example, happened with the primary somatosensory cortex of the held hand. This is the part of the brain involved in processing the sense of touch. This extra connection predicted pain unpleasantness ratings as shown in this graph. Another network that showed a connection with the NPS during handholding is something called the default mode network, or the DMN. This network is involved in a person's inner state and conceptual processes. This might suggest that during handholding, the attention shifts to a more social and self-orientated mentalizing. Finally, the researchers showed that a variety of brain regions decreased in activity upon pain during handholding. These regions are known to be involved in processing nociceptive pain, but are also stress-related regions. There is, however, some room for follow-up experiments to uncover even more about the effects of handholding during pain. This includes checking whether these responses depend on who holds your hand. For example, can a stranger have a similar effect? These results are also only applicable to women, so a next experiment involving men would be very interesting. Overall, this study shows handholding during a painful experience increases relationship quality and emotional comfort. In addition, pain intensity and unpleasantness are reduced. This is caused by a reduction in a neurological pain signature, as well as an increased connectivity between the NPS, the somatosensory cortex, and the default mode network. Finally, brain regions involved in, among other things, processing nociceptive pain and stress show a reduced activity during handholding. To conclude, this study shows that handholding can reduce pain, not only one's perception of pain, but also the brain regions that are involved in the response to this pain. So, my advice after reading this study: find yourself a partner and never let go of their hand. At Biochemistry Explained, we make scientific literature accessible. During my time as a student and a researcher, I noticed that scientific literature often does not reach a broad audience. We want to change this by making short and informative videos about recent and novel findings in the field of biochemistry and drug development. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future topics, let me know in the comments, and perhaps I will discuss any research that interests you next time.